In this video, we will discuss about body cavity or coelom and also the division of coelom. The presence or absence of a cavity between the body wall and the gut wall is very important. So when this body cavity are lined by this mesoderm, then this is called as coelom. And on the basis of symmetry, the organisms are divisible into many categories. There may be asymmetric organisms like amoeba. There may be radially symmetrical organisms like Cnidaria, and also the many organisms shows bilateral symmetry in which any plane can divide this animal body into two equal halves. So the organisms which shows this type of symmetry is known as bilateral organism, and this bilateral organism are divided into two main division, the protostomia and the deuterostomia. And the protostomia also have three subdivision, the acoelomata, pseudocoelomata and coelomata. We will discuss about differences of protostomia and deuterostomia also in this video. Okay. Now, the protostomia is divided into three subdivisions, the acoelomata, pseudocoelomata and the coelomata. And two important phylum are included under acoelomata, the Platyhelminthes and the Nemartinia. They have no true coelom, so they are regarded as acoelomate organism. The phylum Platyhelminthes and the phylum Nemartinia are included under group acoelomata. Acanthocephala and phylum Entoprocta, they are pseudocoelomate. Actually, the superphylum Aschelminthes is divisible into two phylum, Acanthocephala and the Entoprocta, and the pseudocoelom are seen in these two phylum. The example of this superphylum Aschelminthes is Rotifera and the Nematoda. Then the Rotifera and Nematoda are pseudocoelomate. They have no true body cavity or coelom. And the coelomata are usually higher phylum, that is Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca. They are coelomate. But in these three phylum, the schizocylous coelom can be found. The true coelom are divisible into two categories, the schizocylous coelom and enterocylous coelom. And in case of Annelida, Arthropoda and the Mollusca, the schizocylous coelom can be seen. And again, the deuterostomia, the bilateral organism are divisible into two categories, the protostomia and the deuterostomia. And in deuterostomia, enterocylous coelom can be found. And this type of coelom can be found in phylum Echinodermata, phylum Hemichordata and phylum Chordata. And the organisms which have no cavity in between body wall and the gut wall, they are usually known as acoelomata. Like Platyhelminthes and the Nemartinia, they are acoelomate because they have no cavity in between the body wall and the gut wall. And if we see the structure of a coelomate or the true coelomate, we can see the two wall. The outer wall is called as the body covering, or this is the body wall. And this body wall are derived from ectoderm. This is also a type of germ layer. And inside this, there are also present a cavity, and this is actually gut cavity or the alimentary canal. Of this alimentary canal is called as wall of GI tract, and this wall are derived from endoderm. Then a cavity can be appeared in between these two wall, in between the body wall and the gut wall. And this cavity is actually called as body cavity. And this body cavity may be filled with fluid or air filled, or this may be filled with air. But however it is, and when these body cavity are covered by mesoderm in both side or mesoderm derived tissue in both side, then this body cavity is called as true coelom. Now, this is the body covering or the body wall. Usually the body covering or the body wall are derived from ectoderm. Ectoderm is also a type of germ layer. And this is the wall of our digestive system. And this wall are derived from another type of germ layer which is known as endoderm. And in between this body wall and the gut wall and this cavity, this is a cavity. And adjacent to the body wall, you can see a layer of mesoderm. And adjacent to gut wall, you can also see a layer of mesoderm. Actually, these are special type of tissue which are derived from the mesoderm. Then this body cavity are surrounded by mesoderm on both outer and inner side. and the cavity which is lined by mesoderm on both sides, this cavity are called as coelom or the true coelom. Then coelomata have a true coelom. A body cavity completely lined by tissue derived from the mesoderm are known as coelomata. From phylum Annelida, phylum Arthropoda, phylum Mollusca, phylum Echinodermata, and the phylum Chordata. So these all types of phylum contains true coelom, and they have body cavity, and this body cavity are surrounded by mesoderm. Now pseudocoelomata. Who are pseudocoelomata? Superphylum Aschelminthus are included under pseudocoelomata. Phylum Acanthocephala and phylum Entoprocta, they are pseudocoelomata. Then you should know that what is pseudocoelom. So pseudocoelom have also a body cavity lined by tissue derived from mesoderm and endoderm. So this is a body wall. The outer wall is called as the body wall, and this is gut wall. This is the digestive system, lumen of digestive tract. And this lumen have a specific wall or the definite wall, and this is called as gut wall. And this gut wall is derived from endoderm. Then in between these two layers, the outer layer contains mesoderm derived tissue or the muscles, and inner layer contains tissue which are derived from endoderm. Then this inner layer or the tissue of this inner layer are not derived from mesoderm, and for this reason this cavity is not called as true coelom. Actually this is pseudocoelom, because their outer wall or the adjacent to body wall, there are present mesoderm derived tissue, but the inner wall of this cavity derived from endoderm, not from mesoderm. So this cavity is not true coelom, and this is called as pseudocoelom. Actually pseudocoelom, the body cavity is not lined by mesoderm, and the mesoderm is present as scattered pouches in between ectoderm and endoderm. Actually, if we more precisely see the structure of pseudocoelom, we can see different mesoderm pouch. So there are present different mesoderm pouch, and this is lining of GI tract or the endoderm, and this is body wall, and in between this body wall and the gut wall, you can see different pouch like structure. These are derived from the mesoderm or the splitted structure. Actually this is pseudocoelom. Now who are acoelomata? Acoelomata lack body cavity between digestive wall and the outer body wall. So this layer is actually body covering, and this layer or the body wall are derived from ectoderm, and this is inner wall, and this is lumen of digestive tract, and this wall are derived from endoderm, and in between this body wall and the gut wall, there are present a tissue filled region, and this tissue filled region are developed from mesoderm. Actually this is not space, this is tissue filled region, or this is solid or the solid mass of protoplasm. And the organism which show this type of body plan are known as acoelomata. Coelom are divisible into two categories, the schizocilum and the enterocoelic coelom, or the schizocilic coelom or enterocoelic coelom. Phylum Annelida, phylum Arthropoda, and the phylum Mollusca have schizocilous type of coelom, and so they are known as schizocilous. And phylum Echinodermata, phylum Hemichordata, and the phylum Chordata have enterocoelous coelom, and so they are known as enterocoelous organism. Now we will study about schizocilous coelom and enterocoelous coelom. Now the schizocilous coelom formation begins in gastrula stage. Obviously the gastrula stage is a developmental stage in which the cells of blastula undergoes morphogenetic movement, and this will causes the development of three important germ layers, the ectoderm, endoderm, and the mesoderm. And during this time or during gastrula stage, the coelom formation begins, or the cavity in between body wall and the gut wall begins during gastrula stage. And in Annelida, Arthropoda, and the Mollusca, they show schizocilous type of coelom, or their body cavity is actually schizocilous type. What is this schizocilous type? In protostome development, the coelom forms from the splits in the mesoderm. Then this is known as cytosolic coelom. Suppose this is body wall, and this body wall is made up of ectoderm, and this is gut wall, and in gastrula stage, this gut or the primitive gut is called as archenteron, and it has a blastopore, and from this blastopore the mouth are developed. And in the body wall or the ectoderm, in between body wall or ectoderm and the gut wall or the archenteron or the endoderm, there are present mesoderm, and this mesoderm is splitted. And this splitting of the mesoderm causes development of coelom. And the coelom which are developed due to split in the mesoderm, then this type of coelom are called as cytosolic coelom. And this type of development can be seen in phylum Annelida, phylum Arthropoda, and the mollusca. So they are cytosolic type of organisms. And the next type is enterocolic coelom. Then this is body wall, and this is gut wall, or the gut wall or the primitive gut is also known as archenteron. Then what is the enterocolic coelom? The coelom forms from the mesodermal outpocketing of archenteron. So this is the archenteron, and you can see the two outpocketing from this archenteron or the wall of this archenteron. And when the coelom or the body cavity are developed due to outpocketing of archenteron or developed from archenteron, then this type of coelom are known as enterocolic coelom. Entering always related with gut. Remember it. Enteron means gut, or anything which is related with gut is known as enteron. So in enterocolic coelom, the coelom are developed from outpocketing of this gut wall. Right now, the solid masses of mesoderm split and form the cytosolic coelom, and the folds of archenteron from the enterocolic coelom. Okay, so solid masses of mesoderm splits and forms cytosolic coelom, and the folds of archenteron forms enterocolic coelom. Then these are actually different type of coelom. So the organisms are divisible into acoelomata, pseudocoelomata, and the coelomata. And we have seen that what is pseudocoelom and what is true coelom. And again, we have also seen that the true coelom are usually two types, the enterocolic coelom and the cytosolic coelom. Actually, cytosolic coelom are developed due to splitting of solid mass of mesoderm, and enterocolic coelom are developed due to outpocketing of primitive gut or archenteron. Now we will study about differences in between protostomia and deuterostomia. Then the bilateria are divided into two groups, the protostomia and deuterostomia. Now, what are the differences in between protostomia and deuterostomia? In protostomia, spiral and determinate cleavage can be seen, but in case of deuterostomia, the radial and indeterminate cleavage can be seen. And in protostomia, the coelom is always cytosolic type of coelom. That means solid mass of mesoderm splitted and form the coelom. Then in protostomia, we can see cytosolic coelom. But in case of deuterostomia, the enterocolic coelom can be found. And in protostomia, mouth forms from blastopore. Then blastopore, what is this blastopore? The pore in primitive gut or archenteron is known as blastopore. And in protostomia, the mouth developed from blastopore. But in case of deuterostomia, mouth derived from a secondary opening, and the anus are developed from blastopore. Then anus are developed from blastopore in case of deuterostomia. And the protostomia, the larvae are trochophore larvae, and in deuterostomia, the larvae are tornaria or bipinnaria larvae. These differences are very, very important. And also which groups of animal are included under protostomia and which groups are included under deuterostomia. Then the protostomia are phylum Platyhelminthes, phylum Nemartinia, phylum Acanthocephala, phylum Entoprocta, phylum Annelida, phylum Arthropoda, phylum Mollusca. Then they all are included under protostomia. And the deuterostomia are Echinodermata, Hemichordata, and Chordata. So only invertebrate or only non-chordate which are deuterostomic are phylum Echinodermata. So the Echinodermata, phylum Echinodermata, phylum Hemichordata, and the chordata, or the members of these three phylums are included under Deuterostomia. You have understand about concept of coelom, and in the next classes we will discuss about classification of protozoa from my notes. So thank you, and that's it.